I've been thinking a lot about utopian societies lately.
Oh
Did
yeah?
you ever hear about the Rappites, also known as the Harmonists?
The Rappites? Can't say I have. Who were they?
Well, they were this fascinating group led by George Rapp
Huh?
from the late 18th and early 19th centuries. They tried to build a kind of heaven on earth.
Really? How did they go about that?
So, George Rapp was born in 1757 in
Right.
Württemberg, Germany. He became disillusioned with the Lutheran Church, felt it was drifting away from biblical teachings. He started preaching a strict apocalyptic version of Christianity, emphasizing simplicity and celibacy.
Celibacy? As in no marriage, no kids?
Yeah, exactly. They believed that abstaining from worldly pleasures would bring them closer to God and hasten Christ's
Interesting.
return. But that meant their community couldn't grow naturally, only through conversion.
So they moved to the United States?
Yep, in 1803, Rapp and about 600 followers emigrated to escape persecution in Germany. They were looking for religious freedom and a place to
Right.
establish their ideal society.
And did they find it?
Well, they set up their first settlement in Harmony, Pennsylvania in 1805. They practiced communal living. Everyone shared property and resources equally. They were really successful economically,
Wow,
excelling in agriculture and manufacturing.
that's impressive. But why did they move again?
In 1814, they decided to sell Harmony and moved to Indiana, where they founded a new town, also called Harmony. But even there, they faced tensions with local settlers, and after
Hmm.
about a decade, they moved back to Pennsylvania.
So they kept moving. Why not just stay put?
I think they were always seeking a place where they could fully realize their vision without external interference. In Pennsylvania, they founded their third settlement,
Oh,
Economy,
okay.
near present-day Ambridge.
Economy? That's an interesting name.
Yeah, and it reflected their focus on both spiritual and economic prosperity. They produced high-quality goods like textiles and wine. Yeah,
Oh,
even
wine?
though they practiced celibacy.
So they were celibate winemakers? That's a twist.
Haha, yeah, it's ironic when you think about it. But they believed that hard work and self-discipline were forms of worship. Their
Right.
prosperity was seen as a sign of divine favor.
So, what happened to them eventually?
Well, their numbers began to decline in the mid-19th century. The practice of celibacy limited population growth, and fewer converts were joining. George Rapp died in 1847,
Uh,
and without his leadership, the community struggled.
that's kind of sad. Did they just disappear?
By the early 20th century, the Harmony Society had effectively ceased to exist, but their settlements, especially Economy, left a lasting legacy.
Interesting.
The old Economy village is now a historical site.
It's fascinating how they tried to create a utopia, but were ultimately undone by their own strict beliefs.
Yeah, it's like they were aiming for heaven on earth, but their methods made it unsustainable. The practice of celibacy, while spiritually significant to them, was a
Right.
practical challenge.
I wonder if they had adapted that one aspect, maybe allowed families, would they have lasted longer?
Possibly, but then, would they have maintained their spiritual purity as they saw it? It's a delicate balance between ideals and practicality.
Exactly. It's like the Shakers, a similar story, right?
Exactly. Celibate communal societies tend to face the same challenges. Without natural population growth, they rely on new members joining, and that's hard to sustain over
Yeah.
generations.
So, what do you think is the biggest takeaway from the Rappites story?
I think it's a testament to the human desire to create a better world, even if it's imperfect.
Yeah,
They were willing to uproot their lives, cross an ocean, and build from scratch, all for their beliefs.
that's admirable in a way, but also a bit tragic.
True, it's like striving for an ideal that may be
Right.
unattainable, but their contributions to industry and culture are still felt. Their settlements were models of efficiency and craftsmanship.
And now, we have historical sites to remind us of their efforts.
Exactly. Places like Old Economy Village preserve that
Yeah,
history. It's important to learn from these stories.
definitely. But don't you think they could have adapted more to survive? I mean, the insistence on celibacy seems, well, impractical.
I see your point, but for them, celibacy was central to their faith.
Right.
Changing that might have compromised their core beliefs.
I suppose. It's just a tough situation.
Yeah, it's a complex issue. Maybe utopia is more about striving than arriving.
I like that thought. So any plans to visit Old Economy Village?
Actually, it's on my list now. I
Great.
think seeing it firsthand would be really enlightening.
Let me know when you go. I'd love to join.
Absolutely, it'll be quite the trip into the past.
Can't wait.